Under an orange and cloudy sky, helicopters flew over the city of Xiahu in Hanwu. A narrative voice wondered about the severity of the explosion, as it was not possible to see black smoke in the distance. A young man, apparently calm amid the chaos, watched the movement of the helicopters, showing curiosity about what had happened. Then, he thought about capturing the moment with a photograph to share with his friends. Holding his cell phone, he came across the news, "Explosion in Manhu. Explosion at the Yiging chemical factory in the Xianhu development zone, Hanwu City." With a serious and thoughtful expression, he reflected on the gravity of the summarized news from that year. The young man reads a comment on his cell phone questioning people's belief in doomsday predictions, mentioning that even in 2020, they still give credit to such things. He observes the street with the sky in the background and downplays the seriousness of the explosion, justifying that there isn't much smoke. The young man is at a bus stop and thinks that, despite the explosion not seeming serious, the bus will not come from that direction. He shows impatience with the wait, expressing that he doesn't want to wait any longer. He decides to take a shortcut back to Hanwu, complaining about the chaotic traffic. The scene changes completely, showing an orange sky and the phrase "double kill" in prominence. The phrase "triple kill" echoes in the dark alley where the young man walks, while a voice encourages itself to keep running, mentioning that it is close to achieving the 4th kill. The young man walks confidently, not noticing the pool of blood and the word "perfect" written with the same substance. A sinister shadow approaches, announced by the phrase, "Someone is coming!" The young man steps in something slimy, and with a disgusted expression, wonders if it's dog urine. Tentacles emerge from the ground, wrapping around the young man amidst a reddish flash, while the phrase, "The Demon King will rise," appears threatening. The young man, in despair, questions what kind of joke this is, wondering if the tentacle being wants to steal his belongings or have fun with the situation. The young man, still trapped by the tentacles, panics and screams for help, fearing an attack. A flash takes over the scene while the young man lets out a scream of pain. A magic circle appears in the center of the flash, with inscriptions in an unknown language. The scene returns to the dark alley. The young man's body lies on the ground, apparently lifeless, while his spirit, with a halo over his head, opens his eyes, revealing an intense glow. The young man, in panic, writhes on the ground of the alley, expressing his despair. Still panicking, he repeats the phrase, "Gods and Buddha, save me!" The young man gets up and checks his own body, realizing that everything is in order. The head is fine, the bones are fine, the legs and feet are still there. Standing up, he sighs in relief that apparently nothing happened. It's a relief that nothing happened. The young man puts his hand to his head, confused. What am I thinking? He attributes the occurrence to the heat, justifying that he is having hallucinations. It must be because of today's heat that I'm hallucinating. The young man holds the backpack, feeling that something is different. But why do I keep having this feeling? The young man walks through the Nanhu community in the Xiahu development zone, questioning what really happened and if he had another dream. I don't know what really happened. Could I have had another dream? This is too much. The young man, still reflective, walks towards an older man, while recalling the promise of drinking together after the art exam. "Ifan, and the first place in the art exam? When are we going to celebrate with some drinks?" The man replies that he needs to take care of his grandson first. "Uncle Leo, you need to take care of your grandson first. I just saw him browsing the internet in the alley's cyber cafe." The older man gets angry at what he just heard and questions, "What? That little bastard told me he was going to have a tutoring class?" A voice responds sarcastically, "If he is a little bastard, then what are you? Old?" The young man enters a modest apartment and introduces himself. "My name is Li Yifan. I am 18 years old, and I am an art student who achieved first place in the Hanwu Academy of Fine Arts exams." While closing the apartment door, the young man laments his low general culture score. "It's a pity that my general culture score was a bit low. I missed more than 100 points. But I got into the Academy of Arts." The young man decides to take a bath to relax. "I'm going to take a bath." He undresses, while thinking about how his parents wouldn't let him repeat the year. "For me, it would be great to be a bit lazy and repeat the year, but my parents wouldn't tolerate." The young man smiles, revealing that he liked the idea of his parents traveling to have peace. So the two of them took advantage of the travel excuse to have a few days of tranquility. The young man, now shirtless, reflects on a dream he had. "But what beauty did I dream about just now? How can I feel that sensation?" The young man, now completely naked, gets excited about the idea of getting into a good university. "Sooner or later, I'll get into a good university and my parents will be proud of me." The young man takes a bath while thinking about the dream with the beautiful woman. "If I could dream of her again, I would like to see her clearly." The scene changes to a night with a red moon and bats in the sky. The young man, with a furious expression. The scene changes to a night with a blood-red sky and bats flying. A narrative voice, amidst that sinister scenario, questions, "What is a small setback at this moment? I, Li Yifan, am sure that I will have a wonderful life." The scene returns to the street in front of Li Yifan's apartment. The sky, previously clear, is now dark, and a cold breeze takes over the environment. Li Yifan's grandfather, confused by the sudden change, asks, "Why is it suddenly cold?" His grandson complains of ear pain. The scene completely changes, showing the ruins of the Yiging chemical factory. A uniformed man, amidst other armed soldiers, reports to an officer. Report to the chief officer. This time, a total of 72 demons broke the limit and invaded the world. The same woman who appeared in Li Yifan's dream, now wearing a uniform and with a serious expression, observes the factory's destruction, while one of the soldiers reports, "We killed 13 of them in the act, captured 33, tracked and located 25. The woman, accompanied by a small ghostly creature, closely observes the surroundings. The woman observes a screen displaying the image of the factory explosion. A narrative voice explains, "The first chapter that detached was an empty bag, which was soon shredded by concentrated fire. We checked the security cameras and the chapter was empty when it exploded." The woman, thoughtful, continues observing the scene. Another woman asks if she checked the ground. The first one replies, "It was checked and it must be the result of an explosion." The residues were analyzed and samples of the adjacent soil were collected without any demonic fluctuation. The ghostly creature approaches the woman and calls her Little White. The woman observes, through a device, a magical portal opening. With an ironic smile, she questions if the demon world has also started using virtual reality. The demon world has also started using virtual reality? The woman keeps smiling and comments, "The demons of this year, finally a bit interesting." The woman with purple hair positions herself in front of a magical portal that opens in the middle of a room with various technological equipment. Armed soldiers observe the scene, while others run towards the exit. Li Yifan is taking a shower peacefully in his apartment. Suddenly, he wonders what is happening, feeling that everything is fake. What the hell? Everything is fake! Li Yifan is startled by a sudden noise. An angry voice emerges, denying the existence of the Master and Servant Pact and exposing the purpose of becoming a pioneer and breaking limits. The Master and Servant Pact? All lies! The purpose of becoming a pioneer and breaking limits is also fake! Li Yifan feels a sudden chill and wonders if the weather has changed. Li Yifan widens his eyes in shock upon encountering the demonic being that invaded his bathroom. The red-haired demon grabs Li Yifan by the neck and, furious, calls him a ghost. Li Yifan, in shock, widens his eyes. The red-haired demon threatens to tear his head off. The red-haired demon approaches to attack Li Yifan, who despairs. Li Yifan wonders if his life will end there. The red-haired demon releases a powerful energy towards Li Yifan, who lets out a scream of pain. The red-haired demon observes Li Yifan, who is surrounded by a golden aura. The demon wonders why the contract did not materialize. This should have been a dead contract! Li Yifan opens his eyes, still in shock, and observes his body, wondering what is happening. Li Yifan observes, frightened, a golden aura emanating from his body. The red-haired demon, now with the appearance of a child with a serpent body, is irritated by the reversal of the contract and threatens Li Yifan. Bastard, why did the contract put the human as master and the demon king as servant? The red-haired demon questions how the pact could have been reversed. How can it be reversed? A master and servant pact transmitted since antiquity. Li Yifan kicks the demon, who falls to the ground. The red-haired demon complains about the situation, lamenting not being able to kill Li Yifan. "This way, I can't kill him." Li Yifan thinks about eating. Li Yifan steps on the red-haired demon's head. Li Yifan's spirit observes the scene, astonished. Li Yifan dries himself with the towel, observing his body and the spirit beside him. The red-haired demon, clinging to Li Yifan's leg, challenges him. Li Yifan, now dressed, observes the red-haired demon with curiosity and questions him. The red-haired demon, enraged, responds, "I am the famous Demon King!" The red-haired demon wraps himself in Li Yifan's towel and, confused, tries to remember his name. Li Yifan, intrigued by the situation, wonders what the red-haired demon really is. Li Yifan continues questioning the situation and wonders if he is hallucinating. But what about that giant humanoid figure he saw? The red-haired demon, struggling, asks for, "Hurry up and free the Demon King." Li Yifan observes the red-haired demon cautiously and thinks, the design of the material is very realistic. Li Yifan imagines various ways to get rid of the demon, like cutting with a knife, burning with fire, unscrewing or piercing its surface. The red-haired demon wraps itself around Li Yifan and questions him, scared. Li Yifan, with a sinister smile, holds a drill. Li Yifan brings the drill closer to the demon, who observes the scene frightened, while a robotic voice comments, "The quality of the device is good, but the dialogue programming is a bit poor. It is 8 p.m. You have a reminder to go to your sister's house next door to feed the dog. Li Yifan, surprised by the robotic warning, questions the nature of the red-haired demon. Is it a vocal instrument? Is it an unknown demon? Li Yifan decides to leave the investigation for later, prioritizing the task of feeding the dog. My sister Shu's dog is more important and will rebel if I don't feed it. Li Yifan decides to go to the microwave. The red-haired demon, tied up and gagged on the table, struggles and screams. Li Yifan walks away, while the red-haired demon questions what a microwave is. The red-haired demon, still trapped, laughs and mocks Li Yifan's attempt to contain him. Li Yifan returns to the red-haired demon, who struggles and screams again. Li Yifan leaves the apartment and warns the dog. The woman with purple hair is standing at the apartment door, staring at the two dogs. The Siberian husky questions her. The poodle, excited, asks the woman, "Scarecrow, give me a female dog. I want a female dog now." The husky barks at the woman, ordering. Li Yifan appears at the door, behind the woman, and is surprised by what he just heard. Li Yifan, visibly scared, wonders how the dogs can speak. The husky and the poodle stare at Li Yifan with serious expressions. The husky, irritated, denies saying anything and tells Li Yifan to shut up. He here wanted a female dog. Li Yifan, in shock, thinks he didn't sleep well the night before. Li Yifan staggers and wishes the dogs good night. Li Yifan faints on the floor. The two dogs watch him. Husky looks confused and asks the poodle what they should do now. He fainted. Now what do we do? The poodle responds, indifferent. What I want is a female dog. The husky warns the poodle not to repeat what he did last time. You are not going to do that, are you? The last time he grabbed a woman's foot, he got beaten up, almost died. Husky observes Li Yifan unconscious and comments, he is not a woman besides. It looks like he won't wake up anytime soon. The poodle approaches Li Yifan and licks his face. The poodle asks the husky if he can lick Li Yifan. The poodle, licking Li Yifan's face, wonders if the husky will stop him. The husky, with a thoughtful expression, the poodle gets excited, while Li Yifan remains unconscious. Li Yifan suddenly awakens with his hand enveloped in a golden aura and questions the poodle. Li Yifan gets up, filled with rage, and threatens the poodle. Li Yifan kicks the poodle hard, who screams in pain. The red-haired demon observes the scene, shocked, while the poodle, thrown into the air, the husky comments, with his tongue out. The red-haired demon in the midst of a golden flash, Li Yifan, with a confused expression, holds a hammer. The red-haired demon wonders how that happened. The red-haired demon continues complaining about Li Yifan's attitude. The red-haired demon, enveloped in a golden aura and with his body filled with rage, just observing the scene with wide eyes, the husky gets irritated with the demon's sudden appearance in his territory. The husky stares at the red-haired demon with a challenging look. The red-haired demon, still furious, prepares to attack Li Yifan, who tries to calm him down. Li Yifan gets up and places his hand on the husky's head, who pushes Li Yifan's cell phone with his paw. The husky, in panic, tries to dial the emergency number on Li Yifan's cell phone, while a message on the screen warns, "Make sure the emergency is real. It is illegal to report a false alarm." The red-haired demon questions what kind of weapon that is. What kind of weapon is that? What is this demon dog going to do? Li Yifan, observing the scene, thinks, when did the dog learn to die? The husky, desperate, reports the situation. Li Yifan, with his back to the husky, bends down as the red-haired demon watches him, surprised. Li Yifan puts food in the dog's bowl. The husky, still in shock, watches Li Yifan. The husky and the poodle stare at Li Yifan, who has his back to them. The broken phone is on the ground. The poodle, with wide eyes, complains, "The husky calls Li Yifan for him to come back to where he left." Li Yifan, closing the apartment door, sighs in relief. Thankfully, managed to break the phone and get out of there in time. The red-haired demon, with his body surrounded by a red aura, Li Yifan walks down the street, trying to convince himself that it's all an illusion. A man watches Li Yifan from afar with a camera and thinks, can Chin's house dog talk on the phone? The same man, now with the appearance of a monster with reptile skin and a long tongue, smiles maliciously. This gives me an idea. The poodle licks the unconscious Li Yifan's face. The husky watches. The poodle excitedly says to the still unconscious Li Yifan, "I will give you like Germany gave it to Brazil from 7-1. Tough until I rip your guts out." The lizard man holds a card with Qin Shuyu's address and thinks, however, Qin Shuyu, the genius girl with an IQ of 180, lets a delinquent enter her room as if nothing were happening. The lizard man looks at a photo of Qin Shuyu and smiles maliciously. As the woman chosen by me. The lizard man, holding Qin Shuyu's photo, declares with a sadistic smile and his tongue sticking out, "Sooner or later, you will be totally mine." The lizard man walks, laughing. The lizard man squats down and looks at a card, with his tongue out and an excited expression. The lizard man leans over a device that projects a beam of blue light. The scene changes to a cell phone displaying a conversation in a messaging app. The time on the screen reads 8:42 p.m. The cell phone screen shows a message from the editor-in-chief of Ms. Huzi. "Tomorrow night, Mr. Pang from Dongsheng Biology will go to Huanglong Mountain in our city to make a secret deal. The details have been sent by email. You already know the rules. Take photos with perfect clarity and at close range. Payment will be 100,000 for the job. Receive the money with one hand and deliver the goods with the other." A male voice off-screen comments mockingly, "Ha ha ha! Here comes another job!" The lizard man, with a sinister smile, looks at the cell phone in his hand. Then the lizard man holds the cell phone and a card as he approaches Qin Shuyu with a threatening smile. Li Yifan opens the apartment door while thinking, everything is hallucinations. Our MC, with a determined look, thinks about his plans for the future. "My goal is to go back and enter the Academy of Fine Arts, participate in contests after graduation, and try to make money." The young man, in a reverie, imagines himself in a romantic setting, wearing an elegant suit and embracing Qin Shuyu, who is wearing a beautiful wedding dress. He thinks, become the CEO of a big company and have a beautiful wife like Sister Qin Shuyu. Li Yifan, with a happy expression and sparkling eyes, exclaims in thought, "So wonderful my life will be." Li Yifan, with an expression of happiness and bright eyes, thinks, "What a wonderful life will be mine." A hand opens the door of an apartment. Li Yifan, with a serious expression, states, "Demons and monsters, all of this is a complete hoax. None of this exists." Li Yifan, standing at the apartment door, observes the red demon with a serpent body and an irritated expression hovering in the air. Li Yifan is startled to realize that the demon remains present, even after he convinced himself it was all a hallucination. The red demon, sitting on the floor, chews a cookie with satisfaction while holding a pillow with a dog print. The scene changes to a nighttime view of the city with its illuminated buildings. Inside a dark room with several screens, a woman answers a phone call. A man observes her, waiting. The man, with an irritated expression, questions the woman. The man, still irritated, orders the woman, "Tang Xiaoyu, check the address of this number." Tang Xiaoyu, wearing glasses and headphones, reports the address. It comes from Northwest Road, community area, number 1502. The owner is Qin Shuyu. The man, with his finger on his mouth, probably thinks it's a prank from those two again. The man, with his hand on his face, complains, "That dog calls the police at least 3 times a month. But since I can't control it, I never understand what it wants to say. And every time it calls, it's not because it's being attacked, nor because it's hungry. It's just because we don't give it enough food to satisfy its hunger. We are a special phenomena management team, not a demon snack bar." "Tang Xiaoyu, I think you should contact the nearby spiritual monitor and take a look." The man grabs Tang Xiaoyu's wrist angrily, questioning, "You're just an apprentice who got in through connections." The man releases Tang Xiaoyu's wrist, and she soon shrinks back, embarrassed, with rosy cheeks. Tang Xiaoyu, intimidated. The man, with a tired expression, complains, "In the middle of the night and that dog still calls the police. Can't I have any rest?" The man, to Tang Xiaoyu while putting on his coat, "Keep working and don't look for me unless it's important, understood?" Tang Xiaoyu responds, with a low voice and downcast look. Tang Xiaoyu, with a worried expression. The scene changes to the outside of Li Yifan's apartment. He has a bucket on his head and hears the voice of the purple-haired woman coming from the hallway. Li Yifan, with a bucket on his head, turns to the purple-haired woman, who questions his presence. The red demon responds, irritated. Li Yifan, still with the bucket on his head, sits on the sofa, surprised. The red demon, with crossed arms, complains, "I also want to cancel the contract, but I can't. Is there any way to break the master-servant pact transmitted since ancient times?" Li Yifan, with an angry expression, stares at the red demon and asks, "Is that what you have in your hands, dog food? Were you able to steal food from both dogs? Are you trying to fool me, aren't you?" Li Yifan, irritated, points a finger at the red demon and says, "I don't believe a word you say." The red demon, with hands together in a plea, says, "If he wants, he can send me away. You can prove what I'm saying. I promise to cooperate with that." The lizard man, smiling maliciously, observes the scene through the camera and thinks. Li Yifan, speaking on the phone, asks, "Is this the carrier? I have a package I would like to send." A voice on the other end of the line. The red demon, confused, observes Li Yifan. Li Yifan watches, with crossed arms, the delivery man holding a box. The delivery man responds, "It's a handmade toy. fully covered and movable. The delivery man opens the box, revealing the red demon, tied up and gagged inside it. The red demon, furious, thinks, "What's with this idiot?" The delivery man observes the red demon cautiously and asks Li Yifan, "These handmade things must be valuable. What is the insurance value?" Li Yifan, with a confident smile, places his hand on his chest and responds to the delivery man, "No need for insurance. I myself will take responsibility if it gets lost." The delivery man, confused, thinks, "What's with him? He doesn't worry about the package getting lost. And then he comes to complain to me?" Li Yifan hands a card to the delivery man and, "Send it to the Himalayas." The delivery man, surprised, warns, "Are you sure? The delivery location is very far and shipping will be quite expensive." Li Yifan, indifferent, responds, "As long as it arrives, it's all good." The red demon inside the box thinks indignantly. Li Yifan watches the carrier van moving away and thinks, relieved, "Finally, I got rid of that thing and can have some peace and quiet." Li Yifan, still watching the van, comments, "The Himalayan mountains. I don't think he will find his way back." The red demon suddenly appears in front of Li Yifan, wrapped in flames, and grabs him by the shirt, commenting that they have a contract and that he can't go away. Li Yifan, scared, exclaims that he couldn't believe what he saw. The red demon, with a serpent body wrapped around the table, glares at Li Yifan furiously while flames emanate from his body. Li Yifan watches the red demon with wide eyes, in shock. The red demon, furious, shouts, "Don't you understand when I say we have a pact and that I can't separate from you?" The red demon, in despair, pleads with Li Yifan, "I'm still very young and want to go to university." Li Yifan holds the red-haired demon by its snake-like body with a look of despair. The red-haired demon, with wide eyes, a flash takes over the scene. The red-haired demon explains to Li Yifan, "There are many things I don't remember now. There's a way to resolve the contract that I still remember. If both parties agree and are on the same level, the contract can be dissolved by performing a ceremony at the Demon Emperor's temple." Li Yifan, sitting on a couch, questions, "What place is the Demon Emperor's temple?" The red-haired demon responds, "Also known as the Wara Huang Temple or the Female Luo Temple." The red-haired demon, in the middle of a table full of food, gets excited. "This should be easy to find, right?" The red-haired demon lists the materials needed for the ceremony. Some materials are needed, such as a spell disc, a fine painting material to draw the magic formations, and a spiritual stone to boost the energy. Li Yifan, sitting at the table and eating, surprised, asks, "A spiritual stone? That thing is an invaluable treasure." Li Yifan, thoughtful, continues eating and says, "It's easier to wait to die." Li Yifan, intrigued, questions the red-haired demon, "Wait, did you say on the same level?" The red-haired demon, proud, points to himself and brags to Li Yifan, "You should know that I am as powerful as the 6 great sages of the demon world." Li Yifan, skeptical, "Don't be so arrogant, since he is a demon king comparable to the great sages with that size." The red-haired demon, irritated, "Don't mock me. I am like this because I have suffered damage. Sooner or later, I will recover all my power as a demon king." Li Yifan asks what the human equivalent of a minor demon is. A table with the power levels of humans and demons is displayed, showing the correspondence between the levels. Li Yifan observes the table and comments, "I think there shouldn't be much difference, right?" The red-haired demon, thoughtful, Li Yifan, frustrated, questions, "How can I, being an ordinary person, reach the foundation building stage to break the contract with you?" Li Yifan, desperate, exclaims, "Red-haired demon, eating a cookie." Li Yifan, dreaming, imagines himself again at the altar, next to Qin Shuyu, who is dressed as a bride. A ghostly voice encourages him, "Just keep cultivating, and all this will be possible. You can achieve all your desires, even becoming an immortal." Li Yifan, in his dream. Li Yifan wakes up in his room. Still sleepy, he gets up from bed. Thoughtful, "Now that I think about it, it's been a long time since I had such a good dream." The next morning, Li Yifan, lying on the couch, hears a voice calling, "There is a person here." Li Yifan, sleepy, responds. A male voice replies, "I just got back from a trip, and I'm already heading to university again. For the ceremony, the Taoist room in the Wara Shrine." Li Yifan, confused, observes the cell phone screen. "You want to take advantage of the Demon King?" Li Yifan defends himself. "And what's wrong with that? I give you food, I give you shelter, and I even take you out for walks. Don't I deserve at least some reward?" The red-haired demon, irritated, shouts, "How can I reward you? Wait until I recover my powers." Li Yifan and the red-haired demon walk down a busy street. Suddenly, the red-haired demon's body starts to glow, and he shrinks, taking the form of a child. Li Yifan is startled. Why did he become even smaller? Li Yifan tries to put the red-haired demon back in the backpack. "Don't just stand there. Get in the backpack." The red-haired demon resists. The contract doesn't say I have to get in there. Li Yifan, irritated, questions the red-haired demon. The contract also doesn't say you should take the form of a child. Hurry up! If someone sees you, they'll think I'm a pervert. Li Yifan, running, observes the red-haired demon in his backpack. Wait, what does he mean by soon? The red-haired demon inside the backpack enjoys himself. Can't believe he fell for that. The lizard man observes Li Yifan approaching the Wara sanctuary and thinks, he's 200 or 300 meters from me. He's in a place with many tourists. Perfect. I'll take some pictures. The lizard man sneaks up to Li Yifan, ready to photograph him. Li Yifan, feeling a strange presence, turns around and encounters the lizard man. Startled, the lizard man displays a triumphant smile. With these three things, the Demon King can be controlled at will. Yifan watches the scene. Shocked, the lizard man approaches Li Yifan, who backs away. Scared, the lizard man says he can be bribed. With some treats! Young Master Yifan, you're in a good place. Finding a master like me? You're lucky. Li Yifan watches the lizard man approach. With a look of fear, a monk approaches Li Yifan. Seeing the danger approaching, Li Yifan turns to the monk. Surprised, the monk strikes the lizard man with a blow, who cries out in pain. Li Yifan watches the scene. Surprised, as the lizard man falls to the ground, the monk smiles. The monk approaches Li Yifan, who asks what is happening. The monk responds, Yifan, don't worry, he's a bandit. I've seen him following you for a while. You must be careful when you're out. There are all kinds of people out there. Li Yifan thanks the monk, who says goodbye. No need to thank me. Do good and expect nothing in return. Goodbye. The monk walks away, while Li Yifan watches. Li Yifan, with an angry expression, thinks, enjoy what? Li Yifan grabs the red-haired demon by the head and shouts. The red-haired demon, scared, defends himself. Why are you blaming me? I warned you he was coming. Li Yifan and the red-haired demon continue arguing. Li Yifan defends himself. I was so scared my heart almost jumped out of my mouth. How could I know he was a monk and not a bandit? He wore common clothes and had such a fierce appearance, anyone would think he was a bandit. The red-haired demon, irritated, responds, then why didn't you let him take me? It would be better than being stuck with you. Do you know how powerful that monk was? He was at least a master at the Foundation establishment stage. If he had taken me, I could have learned something from him. Why do you care so much about demons? Li Yifan, impatient, sees that they have arrived. The red-haired demon, frustrated, mutters, why don't you listen to me? Li Yifan approaches a gate and says, I should bow to him, right? I have a request to make to him. I have to show some respect. The red-haired demon, mocking, are you scared now? Weren't you all powerful before? Wanting to send me to the Himalayas? I have a request. Bow to the ground for me. Li Yifan gets irritated with the red-haired demon's provocation. Demonic energy. Li Yifan enters the temple courtyard. Li Yifan observes the interior of the temple and thinks, Taoist room. He really has no money problems. Li Yifan approaches a group of people and says, excuse me? Is this the Taoist room of the Wara sanctuary? A female voice responds, is this the voice of a lost soul? Interesting. Li Yifan encounters an old Taoist sitting in a chair. The old Taoist says, Yifan, come here. The old Taoist addresses Li Yifan. Since you brought the spiritual stone, then we will start the official ritual. From today, you will become my disciple and inherit my family's secret art. This secret art is different from any other, as it is a dual cultivation technique that requires the help of a demon to progress. What do you think? Li Yifan, with wide eyes, observes the old Taoist, surprised. Li Yifan, visibly confused, thinks, dual cultivation technique? What is that? It seems to be something very powerful, but why did he choose me? Just because I brought the spiritual stone. It can't be that simple. A woman approaches the old Taoist and reprimands him. Calm down, can't you see you're scaring the child? The woman introduces herself to Li Yifan. Hello, boy. My name is Luo Shi. I'm the old man's third wife. You can call me Third Master. She continues, explaining the situation. You must have many questions, right? I will explain. The Li family has been cultivating the dual cultivation technique for generations. With the help of a demon, you can reach a higher level of cultivation. But the requirement is to find a demon with high potential, a demon with the potential to become a demon king. Luo Shi points to the red-haired demon and says, but the old man couldn't find a suitable demon for a long time, and his life is coming to an end. So he used a special method to attract a demon here. She continues, Third Master, don't talk nonsense. I didn't attract a demon, he came on his own. Luo Shi retorts, Li Yifan, you're not really going to tell me you believe that, are you? Luo Shi, with a gentle smile, approaches Li Yifan and says, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that you are here. From now on, you are a member of our Li family, and I am your Third Master. Li Yifan, nervous, thinks, I don't want to. I'm scared. I don't want to become a cultivator. Luo Shi reprimands the old Taoist. What are you doing? Why are you rushing the ritual? However, and regretting the case, this is how we will end this video. But if you liked it, if you want the continuation, leave your comment below. And remember, it's very good that the lazy soul wants everything, but achieves nothing.